Okay, so this is a little practice lecture I'm going to give today because later I'm going on WBAI to give a 5-minute rant about what my biggest concern with this nightmare of an election that we just had. And I'm a devout feminist. I was a feminist in the 70s. I'm also a devout atheist. And all of this is coming up now because, I think that, what's going on, it's boggling my mind how people are now religion is getting even more enmeshed in the government. And who is it going to affect? It's going to affect women and women's rights. We have people like Mike Pence, who calls himself a born-again evangelical Catholic, okay? And he believes, as a lot of people believe, in this invisible man. Mark me, I'm saying, I said an invisible man, not an invisible woman. And he believes in sin, and he believes all this stuff, which is perfectly fine. He's entitled to believe whatever he wants. But, I believe actually in the tooth fairy. But the problem is that they're influencing the government, and now it's going to get worse. And so I think that, women, we really have to start getting up and screaming our brains out against this stuff. You have the Pope who says he will forgive abortion. First of all, the Pope, he's a very nice man, but he's a man. They've elevated themselves. They put on their fancy costumes. They stand around in the Vatican. They look very official. They look very spiritual. It's a man in a gown. He has no business in women's affairs. No business. He should just go home and have a nice plate of spaghetti. These people now, they want to start. Pence's first project is to defund Planned Parenthood, even though Planned Parenthood only has 3% of what they do is abortion. And you know what? They're very anti-abortion, Planned Parenthood, if you think about it. Because what do? They give information, they do outreach, education, they give out birth control. If you want to cut back on abortion, how do you do that? You plan your parenthood. You have reproductive choice. You have really effective birth control available to all women. Pence wants to eliminate birth control from women's affordable care, that they're not covered for it. How does that figure? How do you figure on not having an unplanned a pregnancy? You use good quality birth control. And in the last few years, the rate of abortion has gone down because of the availability of good quality birth control, the long-acting birth control. So I don't understand where these people are coming from and why they have to poke their noses in. I was watching Paul Ryan with that pointy nose. I mean, I can't stand that guy. It's none of his business standing up there and talking about women's vaginas. It's none of his business. And one time I was sitting with my mother, who was 94, and she never had a political bone in her body. She is an Italian working class mom. She's a housewife, no agenda. We're sitting there watching TV, and who's on but all of these men, these old white men, Mitch McConnell, they're all standing there. And what are they talking about? They're talking about birth control, and they're talking about abortion, and they're talking about reproductive rights. And my mother shocked the heck out of me. She looks up and she goes, "What is it their business to talk about this stuff? They have no business. What do they know about what a woman needs? They should just shut up." I felt a shock go through me. It was like out of the mouths of babes. And that is how I'm feeling after this election, with all of these strong men standing around. They're going to start doing this again. They're going to start getting into our business, and we have to absolutely fight back on that.